What's going on? What's up, Dub Nation? It's your man C Dougie coming to you, talking about the Panthers draft, doing a recap video with my guy Uncle Quan. Like I said, that's my special guest today, man. We've been talking behind the scenes before the draft. I was supposed to be in Charlotte with my guy, but due to circumstances of we already know what has happened a couple weeks ago, I was not able to make it. But we're here now. We got our draft class. We got our undrafted free agents as well. The rookie minicamp is May 12th through the 13th. So we will be getting numbers in between now. Players will be sitting there getting their physicals to get ready to come to Charlotte and help this team go into the playoffs and win a division. Again, if you have not subscribed to What's Up, Doug, please hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button for us as well over here. Also, leave a comment as well because we love the comments where we can sit here and communicate with our What's Up, Doug Nation. Tell me what you guys feel about the video, feedback, pros, cons. You know how we do it over here, man. But like we said, the draft is done with. Uncle Quan, tell me how you feeling today, man.
I appreciate that, Doug, man. Hey, first of all, I'm really liking this draft, man. I know a lot of people had a couple of question marks here and there, man. I know we traded up for a couple of players, and that a lot of people felt like we could have just stayed back or maybe even traded back and still been able to pick up. However, I do trust this staff, man. I feel like one of my favorite picks, man, is Mingo outside of Bryce Young, man. I feel like Mingo can make an immediate impact coming into this offense, man. This guy reminds me a lot of DK Metcalf, AJ Brown, those guys that came out of the same school in Ole Miss, man. And I think Mingo, with his size, with his athleticism, he's definitely going to be a hell of a weapon for Bryce Young, man. And I know a lot of people were saying like, yeah, we could have took him later, but I mean, there's a reason these guys pulled the trigger on him, man. I think he's going to be next up as far as the ceiling being AJ Brown type. So they went ahead and pulled the trigger for it, and I really like this pick. I'm not mad at it at all, man. So I'm really liking that pick. This is one of my favorite picks, man. So overall with the draft, I think they did a pretty solid job. If I had to give it a grade, I would give it a solid B. I give it a solid B overall.
And I actually like that. Like I said, if people don't know for Panther Nation, I know hopefully everybody knows our number one pick. The saga is over. We did decide Bryce Young over CJ Stroud. Either way, I was going to be happy. I know I wasn't for sure giving a vocal out loud, hey, Bryce Young, Bryce Young. But I was really a CJ Stroud fan in the beginning, but I really like what we did with Bryce Young. I like what Bryce Young did whenever he came to Charlotte for his introductory press conference on Friday and said he's just one of the guys. But you can tell from this young man's demeanor that he means it. He's going to walk quietly and speak loudly on the field. He's not going to sit here and be a rah-rah guy. He's not going to sit here and be, a yelling guy. He even said, I think somebody asked him, when you yell at the offensive line, you don't have to sit here and yell at somebody to get your point of view across. You don't have to sit here and be, violent or cuss or do all this and that. If you show it on the field or your demeanor is how it's supposed to be, people will follow. But then, like Uncle Quan said, then we drafted Jonathan Mingo in the second round. Definitely like that pick as well. We're going to jump into that later. Then we got edge rusher DJ Johnson out of Oregon in the third round, traded up for this young man. So we had to see something right there. Then on day three, we sat there and got offensive guard Chandler Zala out of NC State. And then we closed out our draft with Jamie Robinson. So like I said, overall, like Quan said, I really feel like the draft was a great draft for the Carolina Panthers. I was kind of, hesitant and worried at once we got Jonathan Mingo. I really wanted to know what were we thinking or what the coaches were thinking. But shout out to the Carolina Panthers social media staff that sat there and dropped those phone calls. Shout out to our Hall of Famers that also helped our coaches. Shout out to Steve Smith. Shout out to Greg Olson. Shout out to Thomas Davis. Shout out to Luke Kuechly. It wasn't just the current coaching staff or the front office. This was really a Carolina Panthers draft. Again, meaning where our man Uncle Quan was out there during the draft party, man. Tell us what, the environment of you seeing the Hall of Famers, the greats of the Carolina Panthers, and just being there for that experience on draft night, day one.
Yeah, man, it was a real fun experience, man. I had to get out there, man. Prior to the draft party, I was really excited about just the whole draft process. And just being out there, that was my first time actually being able to step on the field. So the atmosphere, having all the fans there just excited about, getting this #1 pick. It was electric. I got a chance to take a tour in the locker room. That was exciting, man. Just seeing how the players, prepare for their game day experience and stuff like that. I got a chance to briefly meet Iquanu, man. Ike Iquanu, he's super huge, man. I'm a pretty small person for my age, man. So just standing next to him, he was like a dang on giant. Just standing next to him, man, I got a chance to shake his hand, say what's up real quick before he had went on ahead and did his little interview process. But yeah, man, you had Jake DeLong out there. You had Adam Thielen who showed up. Of course, Ike Iquanu showed up out there. So just listening to those guys go over the draft process and just getting their reaction too. It was just an amazing experience, man. If you are a Panther fan, man, and you missed out, I'm sorry for that, man. But it was definitely a hell of an experience, man. I'm definitely blessed to have been there and share that experience with a lot of other Panther fans and just being able to cheer on the first pick and just being around that energy, man. It was fun. It was real fun.
Yeah, and like I said, shout out to my man Uncle Quan. We will drop his link in the description. Shout out to his channel. He actually has a recorded video from the time of him walking to the stadium to him actually walking in the locker room, interacting with fans, telling us, it's not a rumor. I mean, he was on the field saying the turf wasn't great. So, like I said, I mean, we actually have the video where Uncle Quan was actually there. And again, shout out to my guy for actually recording that for Panthers fans that were not able to experience that. So we will drop that link in our description. So you guys can check out his channel. Also check out that video for him going out to the stadium doing draft night 1. But now let's jump into who do we like and who do we have a question with the draft coming up. So our second round pick again was Jonathan Mingo. I will pull up what NFL.com has to say about Jonathan Mingo. He is out of Ole Miss. He sits at 6'2", weighs 220. If you look at the prospect grade they had, will eventually be an average starter. I feel like it's almost the same exact thing what they said about A.J. Brown. Shout out to my guy Uncle Quan sitting here talking about the Ole Miss, alma mater, or the rap tree of the wide receivers. Yes, they have your DK Metcalf. Yes, they had A.J. Brown. Now you have Jonathan Mingo coming out of Ole Miss. Even A.J. Brown, as soon as Carolina Panthers drafted this young man, A.J. Brown came out and said, this is a dog, and he comes from the route tree of myself and DK Metcalf. But if people do not know, Scott Fitterer actually came out and said that there was a wide receiver that we were very close with and that blew our coaching staff out the water when it came to doing in-house interviews and in-house visits, and that was Jonathan Mingo. And it's actually been reported that Jonathan Mingo was told whenever the 39th pick was available that we will sit there and draft him. So all in all, I love this pick. He was also the number 5 wide receiver on the board. And if we don't remember, there was 4 wide receivers taken between 20 and 23. So he was the next big wide receiver on the board to sit here and come off. I don't think it was a jump based off of how we addressed the rest of the draft and how we addressed the undrafted free agents, but I actually love it. And then if you just want to go off his stats from last year, Jonathan Mingo had 51 receptions, 861 yards, 5 touchdowns, 16.9 yards per catch. And if you look at his highlight tapes, you're not going to sit here and be disappointed. It's some jaw-dropping catches that this young man has set here and done throughout his career. We're talking about one-handers. We're talking about catching balls over defenders' backs. I cannot wait and to see what Jonathan Mingo and Bryce Young are for the future of the Carolina Panthers. I do think he does add something to this wide receiver room with Adam Thielen, with DJ Chark, with TMJ. We do have some wide receivers that have injury concerns, but I do think Jonathan Mingo will make an impact on this upcoming season. Uncle Quan, tell me about one of your picks that you love during the season, and then we'll jump into a pick that, we're kind of got question marks about.
Yeah, man. One of the picks that I also love, I also spoke on Mingo, man. He hell of a catch radius as well. I can't wait to see how he translates to the NFL with Bryce Young. I think that's a perfect pair. But moving on to another draft pick that I like Chandler, man. I really like that pick. Just adding another guard to our offensive line to protect Bryce Young. This is a guy that only allowed 1 sack in his college career. I mean, that's phenomenal. I don't know how he dropped this far back. But I'm really liking this pick, especially pairing up again with Ike Ekwonu, who can also just mentor him and give him the best transition to the NFL as possible, man. And I think he's gonna be in good hands, man. I really like this pick. I feel like this was a steal, really. I mean, this is a guy who wanted to come to us. He actually texted Scott Fitterer the day of, or the day before. He was like, "Hey, man, don't forget about me." And we ended up drafting him and bringing him on to the team, man. And I can't wait to see how he translates. And also, we still are dealing with a little bit of injuries going into the season. So I think he might be an immediate plug-in if we're still dealing with those injuries. So I'm liking this pick a lot, man. Even regardless if he's not starting, just having that depth and understanding that these guys can come in and play. I like this pick a lot.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. You took the tidbit I was going to say. He gets the team back up with Ike Ekwonu. And people even said when they were looking at Ike's tape, they were also looking at Chandler as well. So and shout out to Uncle Quan talking about our injury. It did come out that Austin Corbett will not be ready for the start of the season. So there is already competition right there with Chandler and Zach Mays that they're saying. I do not know if they're going to switch Brady Christensen over and then switch Icky and have competition with Chandler to be right beside Icky like they were in NC State. But I do like what Uncle Quan said as well. This is a depth piece, regardless if he does not win out. You still have, is it Deontay Brown, the offensive lineman out of Alabama? He has been on the weight program. He has looked good in the pictures that I have seen from off-season minicamp. So I'm just really ready to see what he does bring, but I do expect him to be a rotational piece, and he will sit there and fight his butt off to be in the starting lineup until Corbett is ready to come back. I know the pick that everybody's worried about is DJ Johnson. DJ Johnson out of Oregon, he did not start his college career off in Oregon. The young man was actually a part of the Miami Hurricanes. He transferred to Oregon, but he started out when he transferred to Oregon as a tight end. The young man has sat there and within 2 years, only been playing on defense. He had in 2019 had 2 sacks, 14 total tackles. 2021 had 11 tackles, 1 sack. But in 2022, he finally put it together, had 39 tackles, 15 solo, and 6 sacks. Yes, he's a project type player. Yes, we traded up for this young man. But at the same time, what I love what Everose said is that we have the coaches in place to sit here and set him up for the future. You can't teach size. 6'4", 260, you can't teach size. And we also have to remember, this man was able to do nothing, not saying that the Denver Broncos didn't have anything after they let go of Bradley Chubb, but they were still able to produce with the type of DNs and stand-up linebackers that he had on that roster to still have a top-tier defense. So this is going to be a project, but they've already said it. They feel like Evero, Don Capers, and the D-line coach can sit here and help this man develop. I do think we'll still sit there and try to bring in somebody from free agency, but I actually do like this pick. I am kind of questionable about it, but again, that's just why you have coaching. He's not a finished product. Again, he has not been a true DN. He came in to college as a tight end. Now he's an edge rusher. And again, you cannot teach size. So I also like DJ Johnson. Don't know if he will actually start because, again, this is a project. I'd rather have a project DN than a project quarterback. And I already know where people are going to think where I'm going with that. But like I said, DJ was the other pick that I do like, and I can't wait to see what our coaches can do when they get their hands dirty with them. What you got, Uncle Quan?
Now, for my surprise pick, man, I feel like with a couple of different fans across the Carolinas, man, I feel like a lot of people are split with Jamie Robinson. Some people had questions like, why take a safety with this caliber when we already have Jeremy Chin, who plays sort of the same style, like to play in the box, like to play physical. I mean, I really like this pick. I think this is a very, very good pick, a sleeper pick, man. And I think he can fit right in under Evero, man, with this defense. And I think he can play nickel back. I mean, hell, you can put him in the box. He can really learn from Jeremy Chin himself. And I know a lot of people was thinking, why not take a corner? But I actually see the vision and why they took him. I think this guy can eventually become a starter. I think he can develop really well, especially learning from the vets and Jeremy Chin and Von Bell and how to play the position correctly, man. And I think this is a good fit for us, man. I think he's hungry. He already told y'all on the call that he want to be a starter, so he already got that mentality that look, I'm coming for everything. I'm coming for gold, and I really like his mindset. And there's a reason these guys took him. They seen something in him. And I think he can be an immediate plug in, whether he's playing like a nickelback or whether he's playing behind that depth piece for the safety position. And yeah, man, I'm really liking this pick. This is a really sleeper pick for me.
And I also will say this, Uncle Quan. I don't know if you knew this. He's actually a transfer from South Carolina when he played along JC
Yeah, he
Horn.
did play with JC. JC
And
also advocated for him too, man.
yes, sir.
Yeah.
So it's I actually like two of these picks are our day three picks. They're playing with former teammates. And Jamie Robinson came out on his Twitter and added JC saying, hey, let's take over the league for the next 10 years. And JC said, yes, sir. So for them to even have that camaraderie together, I do love it. And again, like I said, Jamie reminds me of a Tyrann Mathieu. If people don't know what Tyrann Mathieu, when he came out of LSU, he had to sit out that year before. He didn't know if he was going to get drafted. No, Jamie didn't have the same path as Tyrann Mathieu, but he's already getting the comparisons and the player comparison to Tyrann Mathieu. As we know, Tyrann Mathieu is not the biggest, but he'll knock your can off the block. And he's not scared of contact. And Jamie shows that as well. If you look at the way he's trying to sling quarterbacks or he's trying to hit people, it's more fierce. It's like throw you down. He doesn't actually hit you, but it's more fierce and physical. So I also like Jamie out of coming out of Florida State to be a part of that defensive back room. But like I said, it doesn't stop right there. Carolina also added some much needed people or players when it comes into undrafted free agents, man. One of the undrafted free agents that I really hope Carolina does sign is Cameron Peoples out of Appalachian State. The man sits at 6'2", 225 pounds. That's not your average size for a running back. He also kind of reminds me of Derrick Henry, not in the physique size, but in just how he carries the ball. He doesn't go down easily. His best year was in 2020. The man rushed for 168 yards, 1,124 yards, 12 touchdowns. In 2021, had 166 yards, 926 yards, 14 touchdowns. He had a down year this past year due to injuries. Also, I know about this young man because Arkansas State Red Wolves play at Appalachian State out of the Sun Belt. So he had 101 carries, 593 yards, 5 tubs. I really expect and hope this man does make the roster. We don't have a bit back. You do have Miles Sanders. You do have the Chuba Hubbards. You do have Blackshear. Hopefully that does not mean that, Blackshear gets cut or somebody gets cut. I do know we did bring in Damiere Byrd. So it doesn't really mean that Blackshear's needed as a special teamer. But I really want Peoples to get a fair chance. Also, shout out to the young man out of Oklahoma who we signed at D tackle. He is a hog molly, going back to David Gettleman's term of offense and defensive lineman. We did not draft one, but this young man was supposed to be drafted around the 5th round, late 4th, 5th round. So for him not to get drafted, he's another young man that I'm looking at to be an undrafted free agent signed on this roster. Again, the reason why we signed so much undrafted free agents was because we had 16 spots left open. We still have, if I'm not mistaken, is it 4 spots or 5 spots? Meaning that they may bring a veteran in, maybe a DN. We're still looking at corner help as well. I already know people were at like, hey, CW, you were saying Dante Jackson's going to get traded. No, I was thinking he was going to be a trade casualty for us to trade up. But no, we just traded draft capital. So Dante Jackson's still here. Like I said, I was just thinking of a player that, has been injured and we get some type of capital off of him. I love Action Jackson. Hopefully he's recovering as well, getting well to be what he was on the field before he tore his Achilles. But overall, man, again, Uncle Quan gave this draft a B with his grade. I would give it a solid B. I would actually give it a B plus. Reason why I give it a B plus because of that Chandler Zala, the guard out in NC State, because this man was supposed to be gone in the third round. And a lot of people were calling saying you got one of the steals of the draft at the offensive line. Again, we got our quarterback of the future. We have our coaches in play. I cannot wait until rookie minicamp again, which is the tentative date right now is May 12th through the 13th. Cannot wait to see what these young men put out there. Can't wait to see how small Bryce looks. Hopefully he gets that number 9. I'm ready to get that jersey myself, man. Uncle Quan, go ahead and tell me your finishing thoughts on the draft, man, or what you can't wait to see coming up.
Also, man, I didn't really know much about the free agent signings until speaking with C Dougie, man. I know just hearing about this new running back that we did sign, just being at the size of 6'2", I think that's incredible for a running back size. I like the comparison to Derrick Henry. Not saying that he's gonna have the production that Derrick Henry has, but just the sheer height and uncommon physique that he has at the position. I like him being paired up with Deuce Daly, man. Deuce Daly is always a coach that's going to bring out the dog in these running backs. And just like last year, man, Blackshear was a undrafted free agent as well, man. And I think he's another guy. If he shows up hungry enough, he can make the team as well. And we can use a pretty much four-headed monster in the backfield with nothing but power, finesse. You know what I'm saying? We got the speed. So I'm liking the mixture that I'm seeing at the running back position. If he does make the team, man. Again, I didn't know too much about it, so I don't know too much about him. But I'm hoping, if he can translate to the NFL, I'm hoping that he can be productive. But overall, man, I feel like this was a pretty solid draft. I know, again, a lot of people had questions, but obviously this staff they seen something in these guys. I mean, they are the professionals for a reason. And like C. Dougie pointed out, man, this was a Panthers draft collectively. You had Steve Smith, who had a lot of praise with Bryce Young. You know what I'm saying? He had a lot of praise with Mingo. He's apparently David Tepper told us that he got on the phone with Steve Smith before making that selection at the draft. So clearly Steve Smith has seen something in Mingo. He's seen something in Bryce. Also, Luke Kuechly was another guy who was high on Bryce Young. And, you know what I'm saying? Same thing with Thomas Davis. He was high on Bryce Young. So I feel like this is a really solid draft overall. And I feel like this is just the beginning of building a new team in the Carolina Panthers. A lot of people are still basing our production off of the past, and a lot of people are still sleeping on us, not realizing that we have a completely different staff, a damn near super staff, if you will, man, with all the guys that we hired in the offseason. This is going to be a completely different team, a very competitive team, and it's not just going to be the defense getting tired and not really getting that reciprocation from the offense. There's going to be complementary football. So I'm looking forward to that. I really like this draft. I feel like they addressed the needs that they been needing at these positions. And I can't wait to see the camp, man, coming up, just to see what kind of production they're going to bring to the team.
I can't say it any better, Uncle Quan. Like I said, I'm ready for the season, man. I know we get the schedule dropped in May, so be looking out for that. We already been talking about tickets, so you already know we're gonna be on that phone, be like, hey, which ones we doing? But again, I appreciate you joining me talking about the Panthers, man. I know we already got plans. We trying to talk. We excited. The season got to hurry up, man, because I'm ready to just jump through the roof. I can't jump right now, but I'm ready to jump through the roof. Also, what's up, the nation? Don't forget our promos, man. I have not forgotten about you guys. We will be doing our jersey and Cash App giveaway here within a week. So stay tuned in the community section. Also, again, check my guy Uncle Quan's channel out. We will be copying the link from the draft night experience into the description. Click on it, show my man some love as well, man. And as we always do, we're going to close it out with a quote. And the quote for today is, your hardest times often lead to the greatest moments of your life. Keep going through keep going. Tough situations build strong people in the end. Again, we appreciate you. What's up, Dub? Y'all take care. One love.
One love.